Hello, hello, hello. Live, finally. I've been waiting for today. Why is that? If you have noticed from the last stream, I was really hyped because I understood some things. I also have noticed that there may have been some issue during the stream last time because the VOD has some issues. I needed to understand if both on YouTube and on Twitch this issue is present, and if it isn't, I will try to upload the correct version of the stream without the issues in the audio around 10 minutes to 20 minutes, something like that. There was a lot of artifacts and I don't remember, there was even a pause at a in a specific period of time during the video because the audio was ahead for some reason. I have no idea what happened, but it's not an issue. I have also increased a little bit the volume of the microphone because I found out, I already had the doubt, but I found out that the audio of the recording is too low, and when I watch it back, so how any of you would do it, if I don't use the microphone, the headset or headphones, I will actually need to raise the volume to the maximum that I can, or even use some application that allows raising it further. And I'd rather people find it too loud and lower it instead of finding too low, and when they try to raise the volume they cannot do it enough. So I increased it a bit, and let's see how it goes during the stream. And yes, I'm hyped because I think by the end of the stream today I will be able to lay the first proper brick in the construction of the cluster that I want to build in my house. And since I've been working on this for a few weeks, this is a big milestone for me. And as usual, my notes. And yes, this is empty because I already started this. And the previous pages are filled with the previous notes. So let's say that we go into it. And as usual, I'm still forgetting that the view I'm showing is not the one that I meant to show. But it's okay, I don't care today. So, coming to our notes, as usual, I have added the mermaid graph to the latest edited notes. And in here you can find some differences. I corrected a couple of things, and moreover I have added a big step that is really important. From today, maybe instead of understood in here, I will have a completed, and I will be able to start to do more configuration on Fedora CoreOS, and finally be able to deploy something on the VMs as well. But first I need to properly configure Fedora CoreOS, which will take a while more, but that's not an issue. So let me see. Yes, should be correct. Wow. The 6 Proxmox API plus Terraform plus Fedora CoreOS. I am fairly confident that I will be able to actually do this during this stream. So the Proxmox yeah, as usual. I will try to look up that message, and if I can remove it, because it's actually annoying. And where I need to go in here, because there was the creation of a template. There it is. And in here, if I recall correctly, this, yes, there it is a QCow image. I don't know if maybe not even like this. I hate this widget to copy codes that is always present. But anyways, I understood. So we will create what we want to create right now. The image is already present. We can create the okay, name. Yes, we will create the VM. So let me take my, oh, by the way, I Starship, I saw it and I remembered one thing, that is in the last stream description you will find the URL to the GitHub page of Starship. It actually took a while to perform that, because posting a link in the description appears to be an advanced feature of YouTube that requires either to have a vast, well, maybe not vast, but bigger history of videos than I currently have on my channel, as well as not even a history of views, but they need to know that you are actually someone doing things properly on YouTube and not a spammer. So if you don't use the method of building your channel for maybe months or weeks, if you are actually producing a big YouTube channel, to get access to that advanced feature, and I couldn't find a list of all the advanced features. I didn't search in depth, but never mind that. I had to provide an ID to YouTube, which strangely they can keep for up to 2 years. I am confused by that, but it's okay for now. Eventually, as far as I understood, if I actually start to have a proper history on my channel, I will be able to have access to such features, even though I'm not providing an ID to YouTube. We will see. Anyways, let's go into this. So eventually we'll delete the we'll actually delete that VM right now. I need to search for the documentation about the creation, because if I recall correctly, nope, yep, there is also the cleanup. There it is. So if I recall correctly, it was 102. Yes, 102. Nope. Yep. QM stop 102. Perfect. The VM was stopped, and it did. So QM destroy 102, and I expect that this disappears. Perfect. So let me go into my notes and start writing. Clean destruction of VM, and I will copy the commands and paste them here. These are the commands to delete the VM with ID 102 from CLI. Okay, fairly easy. Let's move on right away. Now we create again a VM, and we can use a high ID like this. Hold on, I'm not planning to copy that. So QM I expect is related to QEMU, but I'm not certain. Create, actually 9001, because it's over 9000. Maybe 9000 is the biggest that there can be, and I will gain an error, but you never know. Name FCOS template. Over 9000 works. I'm glad. I don't plan to create 9000 VMs in this Proxmox host, but you never know. Note, Terraform is meant to manage the full life cycle of the VM. Therefore, we won't make any further changes to the VM. And indeed, that is what I plan to do, because the hardware is managed by the .tf files through Terraform, as I mentioned previously. And whatever is inside the VM, so configuration starting from literally storage, network, anything, is managed with the ignition file that is injected in the VM. So I'm hyped for that reason. Let's go and do that. So I need to perform this step. That means we insert, I guess, the image, the QCow image inside the VM that will be the template, because currently it is just a VM with a name. QM again, QM set 9001, so minus casi 0, local LVM, because I think this is the place in which it is created, not the place from which it takes the image, because now we have 0, and import from, and equal var CoreOS. I don't know if, yes, I can, images Fedora QCow2. Yeah, I didn't read it all, but there it is, QCow2. It's difficult to read, but it's there. Okay, so oh yeah, local LVM. And here we go. Successfully created local LVM VM -9001 disk -0, size 10 gigabytes. That's cool. I don't mind, because with Terraform I will change that kind of disk size easily. Now QM template 9001, renamed. Oh, nice. This is nice, actually. Okay, so let's copy the steps to create a template. I like that it is changed. Even though I have not that many. Okay, anyways, Proxmox V template for Cloud-Init. Here the commands to create a template through CLI in Proxmox V, and there it is. Yeah, let me edit this because I don't like it, and that's good enough. Oh, not dot, but not that. Perfect. And now we have a template. The snippet, we already have one, for example, for the example that we will test right away. And that's good enough. The snippets will not be created in this way, but these can be applied with other operating systems. This QEMU guest agent is something I need to look up. I wrote it in my notes, and I also wrote that I need to change the structure of this list because it's starting to be a little bit difficult to manage. I will create a table, and it will have multiple columns with the necessary places, necessary columns to manage properly everything. So instead of having a day one for the description of every single item in the list, I will have a column with the day, I guess, and I will just write the number. And in another column, the description, and so on and so forth. And for example, the status, managed, not managed, or whatever. So it will be easier to read and to understand what is managed and what is not, because it's not too quick to see, to be honest. I'm in edit now, even if I were to move to the rendered version of the markdown document, it wouldn't be that clear. Not quickly enough, at least. Anyways, coming back to it, the snippets are managed through Butane and the creation of ignition files that will then be injected. So now we go into the creation of of the Terraform .tf resource configuration file. Let me see. Another thing I need to manage is the fact that if we go here, you can see that this trusty and helpful tool is telling me that there are issues. And indeed, if I go git status, there are a lot of things that I need to manage, but that will be something that is maybe done either off stream or at the end of the stream. We have other priorities today. Usually at the 20th or around the 20th minute of the stream, I'm still rambling. Today I've been focused, really focused. So anyways, let's clean up a little bit. 4 and 1. Yeah. Perfect. And again, CoreOS plan. The plan we said previously that is something that is not needed. So we will do that. And CoreOS Vm.tf that was having issues. So Vim CoreOS Vm.tf. What do we need to change? Well, first of all, the name. Terraform Cloud. I don't want to write Cloud-Init, to be honest. Too long. Starts to be too long for my task CoreOS. Cloud. Course 2. Virtuos SCSI PCI, SCSI hardware. Yeah, if I recall correctly, this was part of it. The network, that's alright. These are alright. And I need to remove all this stuff, I think. Not all. I need to remove... What do I need to remove? VGA type. I can leave it. Network is alright. Boot. Yes. Agent course. Yeah. Oh. Different from my own, but it's not an issue. Boot order. It's alright. Clone. that is definitely something I need to add. So clone equal the name that I gave it was CoreOS template, if I recall correctly. No, FCOS template. FCOS template. Perfect. And SCSI hardware is different, but I don't mind. It shouldn't be an issue. Virtual SCSI PCI. VM states running. Okay, I can do that because I think it will be useful. It will start it. VM state equal running. So it will start it and directly inject what needs to be injected. Yes, I will maybe put some order, but it's okay. And this stuff, I don't need it. This one is already inside the snippet. And disks. So, SCSI disk 0 disk, storage local LVM, and size 2 gigabytes. Okay, so I can just delete most of this, and I can remove this Cloud-Init. Nope. It's needed. Okay. VGA. Okay, so it should be already ready because most of it was done last week. Let's see what happens. And in case, let's work on the plan. There are issues. Nope. Okay, minus out FCOS cloud. Perfect. Now if we go Terraform apply FCOS cloud, let's see if we get errors. Still creating. Still creating. Warning, Cloud-Init is enabled but no IP config is set. Oh. So you are telling me that this VM is running but with nothing? Okay, so there is a need to configure the DHCP option, I think, because here it's broken by the look of it. Let me actually move away from it because I was. That's okay. So we will go Terraform plan destroy and again destroy that VM. Totally alright. And we go into here and try to understand the DHCP part of the Cloud-Init part. Okay, if I recall correctly, if I do this, perfect. So I can separate the Cloud-Init from the serial ID 0. Most Cloud-Init images require a serial device, but this is not a Cloud-Init image. Not exactly. So there is a network here. Cloud-Init. That's 0. Serial 0. What this is? Oh, wait a minute. This is the part of the network, but of course it's not enough. But anyways, Cloud-Init. Target node, agent, course, boot, clone, SCSI hardware. How do we configure the DHCP? By the way, is this newer? Yeah, it is newer and published 2 days ago, so maybe I don't have the latest. I don't have the latest, and for that reason I will need to first of all do this, but then I need to go to provider and indeed 06, and I need to go Terraform init again. Nope. This is available version for provider time and Proxmox locked does not match. Okay, minus upgrade. So let me write a couple of notes. Test one, kind of, yeah, that's one. Kind of worked. And let me get cut of CoreOS, because I didn't change anything yet, I just changed the order. So definition of the VM, error, and it is a trivial error. The VM was created, so everything else was correct, and I need to find the error. Okay, there it is. And for the time being, and here we add the upgrade of Terraform provider for Proxmox V, and we get both the correct stuff but also the error. Oh, yeah. Modify the version of the provider in the provider.tf file. It requires execution of the command Terraform init minus upgrade with just one minus. Upgrade. Yes. Okay. Let me do everything correctly. Okay, so and this DHCP Okay, so I need to add some IP config, I guess. And but I can just write IP equal DHCP, I think. And gateway, I need to put it myself, I guess, but let's go and try. So that is Cloud-Init. So ipconfig 0. I don't really like this. Maybe I need to manage it here, but let's try for the time being and let's see what happens. IP equal DHCP. Gateway equal 192.168.1.1. IPv6 equal DHCP. Okay, maybe this will be enough, maybe not. Maybe then I can manage this inside the Ignition file, maybe not. So Terraform plan minus out FCOS cloud, perfect. Terraform counter error while generating this plan. Argument is deprecated. I updated the version of the provider, and for that reason I need to edit things, of course. Ah, Jesus. Okay, but document CoreOS Terraform plus Terraform. So Vim CoreOS, let's fix that on boot. And instead of on boot, I should write start at node boot. Wow. Start at node boot. And this was just a deprecation. I really don't like this thing that happens often, but I cannot do much about it. Okay, so I need to recreate again the but you know what? That will be ideal. I will do this, but I will do it without showing, so that I can create a new new. Oh, okay. I could just modify the API token, or better, modify the role. Oh Jesus, my eyes. This white is annoying, but anyways, I can modify the privileges it was saying. So I need to add pull dot audit, I think. You're missing pull dot audit. Yeah. Strange. Strange, but yeah, let's do it, I guess. But is it there? It's not there. Okay, so I need to add it. I guess I can show this since I'm not changing the API token. And yes, I'm copy and pasting this one. And pull.audit. So modify Terraform role. Terraform role. It seems correct. Let's try. Argument. I didn't save the file, of course. There it is. So Terraform apply FCOS cloud. Let's see what happens now. Let's see what happens now. Let us see what is happening. Error. What? Okay, that's good. So so yeah, not that. So I can go in here and make it simpler because I don't need the gateway, mutually exclusive. Makes it simpler for me, and you know what? Okay, let's do it like this, I guess. Let's go like this. And plan. Oh, yeah, I didn't. Let's try a validate, I guess. Terraform validate. Success. Configuration is valid. So now I can apply it. I don't see it. Yeah. I do see it. And it's okay. Summary. I cannot start it because it started. Okay, yeah, okay. And console, tell me I get what I want. I'm not getting what I want. Let me actually try to use that command I found here, the HCP configuration. Yeah, I will add this part, but it's okay. Yes, yeah, there it is. Terminal. Let's try terminal 100. Unable to find a serial interface. So there is an incorrect configuration of the serial interface. Socket. Serial 0 socket VGA serial 0. Yeah, this is missing. How do I configure that? I don't know, but I can find out maybe. Serial 0. Type VGA. And that's the only place in which I can find it. Okay, what did I write in the document? Yeah, I'm using it here. Let's do it here. So, VGA type serial 0. But that is just this one. There is no socket. There is no serial 0. What is this? Serial 0. Maybe it's not serial 0, but serial. Way more options. BIOS. Serial block. There it is. Socket. There it is. So somewhere over the rainbow I need to add serial id required, so id 0 id equal 0. Thank you. And type, let's write it this time even though it's not needed, socket. I don't think this will be enough to make it work, but apply. Console. Oh, there is stuff. And that stuff is nice because things are happening. Let's see what happens. We need to wait a little bit, I guess, or at least check in here maybe, because in here it was actually showing a lot of stuff. It isn't anymore. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I could have given an actual IP address instead of using the HCP, and maybe now I would have an IP address to connect to. CoreOS Cloud Terraform, so this is the name given to the VM. This is, I don't know. Let me modify that. Let's give it an actual IP address manually. So 192.168.1.100. I shouldn't have anything like that. 192.168.1.1. No IPv6 currently. I will see if I need it in the future. Let's modify things. It's not valid. It's not a valid IP address. Did I actually mess up what I wrote? Yeah. No. Oh yeah. G W. Forgot. What? Why? Come on. Oh, slash. I'm an idiot. Cedar. Oh, jeepers. 24. Now it will work to a degree at least. So technically speaking, I should be able to SSH into it. SH root. What the hell is that noise? Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, yes. I got this, that is Fedora CoreOS, and I get the 9 IP. Interesting. So let's see what happens if I connect to 100. Ah, yeah, root. Not root. Core. Nope. 9. Yes. Okay, so it worked, but not exactly like I wanted it to. So in there, I guess I need to align the Cloud-Init configuration with the Butane and Ignition file to have the correct IP. Otherwise, I can ignore the IP address, but if I ignore the IP address configuration, I need to wait for the machine to start and read it from the terminal. Read from the terminal the actual IP address assigned to the VM, and that's not good. But it's already a success. What I wanted to do is possible. It's a bit more weird than I expected. So notes right away. Mention of the EP config 0 for Cloud-Init is necessary even though it is then overwritten, I expect, by the ignition file for FCOS. To retain it. No, maybe I don't even need it. I can write DHCP and modify the ignition file. Maybe okay, so maybe instead of an IP configuration, I can set it to DHCP and ignore it from now on and manage everything through Butane and ignition file. Let's test it. Anyways, success. I'm actually really happy. Yes. So, what do? We need to edit the butane file, add the static IP address in the butane file, and change the Terraform file to DHCP, which is quick, and let's do it right away. So back to DHCP, and let's do it like this. Now we need to go to. So this will be needed. Yes, we can do it in here. So documents, FCOS, and tests, I guess. First test.bu. So vim first test.bu, and now we need to edit this to add what's needed. That is this part for static IP address. So, 100. I didn't remember it, but maybe, but really, is it just like that? In the butane file, but this is, where is the butane file? This is not the butane file. Okay, this is to the VM. So why was it? What? Why was it overwritten then? Why was it overwritten? This is a configuration to the VM. This is Proxmox stuff, it's not butane. Where is it? Butane, there it is. Look at this. If it's in Windows, we can. Okay. So I don't know if that was present at the last time. I will check it back. But anyways. This could be an issue because I set an IP address and it was ignored. Is there a networking configuration on butane side? Quick start, putting on a cloud. I don't give a flying anything. Producing butane specification. Okay. Using a remote ignition config. This could be interesting. Configure storage, managing network configuration. Host network configuration option background. Unless otherwise configured, Fedora CoreOS will attempt DHCP on every interface with a cable plugged in. However, if you need to use static addressing or more complex networking, VLANs, bonds, bridges, teams, etc. You can do so in a number of ways, which are summarized below. I'm liking what I'm reading. Regardless of the way you choose to configure networking, it all ends up as a configuration of for Network Manager, which takes the form of Network Manager key files. More information on the key file format can be found at the link, and more information on the subsection options for key files can be found here. So let's open these two files. Currently I don't need this. Getting started, I don't think I need this. Currently I don't need that. Oh Jesus. Okay, this is documentation for Network Manager. Nice. Configuration options. FCOS machines are primarily configured via Ignition, which runs from the init RAM FS on the machine's first boot. Depending on the platform, the machine may need network access to retrieve remote resources, either the Ignition config itself or remote resources specified inside the Ignition config. Note, networking will only be started in the initram FS if determined to be required, or if explicitly requested by the user with rd.neednet equal 1. Whether or not a machine needs networking in the initram FS can dictate how a user will configure networking for the machine. The options for configuring networking for a machine are via kernel arguments. These get processed by dracat, DRAcat modules, in the initram FS on first boot. Via live image customization by embedding network configuration in the live ISO or PXE image, via core installer install --copy -network by propagating the installation environment networking configuration, via afterburn by applying network configuration injected by various platforms, via Ignition by laying down files that Network Manager then uses on startup. So my idea is to use the Ignition file because that is what I want to use, and I don't know honestly how to use the others, but maybe in the future. If you need the network connectivity to pull your Ignition configuration, or if your Ignition has remote references, you won't be able to provide your network configuration via Ignition. If you provide networking configuration in multiple ways, i.e. via kernel arguments or via Ignition, then the configuration supplied via Ignition will win and be what is applied to the real root of the machine. It is not supported to provide a half configuration via kernel arguments and half via Ignition. Okay, how do we do what I want to do? Because honestly, I expect that if I want to install packages in the Ignition file, maybe I can do it after the network configuration in the Ignition file, but I don't know. We'll cover each one of these options now. So via kernel arguments, On the first boot of a machine, a user can provide kernel arguments that define networking configuration. These kernel arguments are mostly defined in the dracat.command line man page. There are a few different ways to apply this kernel argument on first boot. In the most generic form, you can stop an instance at the grab prompt on the first boot, ignition boot, and add them to the existing set of kernel arguments. For a bare metal install, where you automate the installation via kernel arguments added, you can also append networking arguments and they will apply to the install boot and also the first boot, ignition boot of the installed machine. An example set of kernel arguments for statically configuring an IP address for NS2 looks like the following. But how do I put it? The syntax is a bit hard to work with. An easy way to work with it is to write a small script that will fill the items for you. For example, above, something like this should work. Yes, but how do I inject that? Let's go into the ignition. Via ignition. If you need networking to grab your ignition config and your environment requires more complex networking than the default of DHCP to grab the ignition config, then you'll need to use another method other than ignition to configure the network. I pass it on at the creation. Okay, so networking configuration can be performed by writing out files described in an ignition config. Sounds good? These are network manager key files that are written to etc network manager system connections that tell network manager what to do. Yes, I want that. Any configuration provided via ignition will be considered at a higher priority than any other method of configuring the network for a Fedora CoreOS instance. If you specify networking configuration via ignition, try not to use other mechanisms to configure the network. I'm totally okay with that. Let's do this. Okay, and this looks like is okay. Storage. Files. And we go here. Path. And we go etc network manager system connections and the name of the networking. Do you have the VM? Yeah, let me connect to the VM. So in theory, I don't know. Wait. ENS 18. Let's use that. And let's go back in here. ENS 18 .nm connection. Great. Annoying. Mod 0600 contents inline connection id equal ens80. Type equal ethernet interface name equal ens18, and in here we go like this, IPv4 address 1 okay, 192 168 100. Wait. Slash 24 and then the gateway 192 168 11. So DNS, and I will go what is it, 1111 1111. I like Cloudflare better than Google. DNS search, at least as long as this is the way in which I work. Eventually I will use my own DNS server, but eventually. May fail. Nope. False. And method equal manual. And I think for the time being that's good enough. Host network configuration example. In this section we will go through common examples of setting up different type of networking devices using both Trackcat kernel argument as well as network manager key file via Ignition Butane. Okay, prefix 24, net mask, okay, whatever. Hostname, I didn't write an hostname. I still don't know how do I pass this. But anyways, configuring static IP, Trackcat kernel, Butane config. Okay, this is what I did above. P hostname, DHCP hostname. Okay, so I can add it after the DNS, no, before the DNS. DHCP hostname FCOS locally as usual. template rendered. I don't care. It's not the right moment for the configure bond static IP. I don't know what is a bond static IP, and it's not needed right now. Maybe I will need it. I don't know. Oh, multiple. Okay, I don't know. Bridge DHCP. Well, to be honest, I think this is correct for what I want to do. Anyways, butane. Let's go like this because I don't remember. Butane. Butane, and there it is. Let's see what happens. Strict was alright, so SCP. That's totally cool. And now we go SCP, I guess. Nope. I may have used move MV. Yeah. So I went to var CoreOS snippets, and then I want MV and do this. Now what I can do is this one was already written, so I can do this, apply, yeah, and let's move this because I don't want that thing. In theory I should be able to use the where is, yeah, the data that I wrote in here. So if I SSH into core, it's not working, but maybe it's yet to finish. Let's give it a moment, I guess. I changed tab to summary. I should have just stayed in there. Maybe I need both. Sorry. Maybe I need both this, but also this. Let's try. Yep. Okay, booting. Perfect. Applying the things. For some reason it didn't apply the IP address configuration, but it didn't give me an error as far as I can see. And again I need to go 9, and it works. So there is an error in this configuration. So now I want 100 and it didn't write 100. Is it correct? December 2nd is today, and let me go like this. Oh wow, storage file, source. Wow, I cannot read that, but it is in base 64, so I think this is the part, and maybe there is a CLI tool, but base 64 decode is totally right. Decode. Oh wow. Wow. Maybe I need to give it all. Decode. Nothing. It doesn't look that great. So give me a second. If I connect in here, LS-L etc network manager system connections, default connection. So I didn't write shit to the file that in theory I told it to write. Okay, why it didn't write it? So I used this configuration for Butane, and to be honest, NM connection, ENS, network manager, system connections. Inline. Give me a second, but I need to use Tmax. Okay, so Tmax. Oh, and in okay, I will need to configure Tmax properly, but it's okay. I first need to understand what do I want to do. Yeah. And FCOS tests. Perfect. So I used strict. If there were errors, it would have told me. Pretty raw, strict. Fail on any warning. Never rope in a machine config. Force ignition output. Oh Jesus. Okay, this is the general, and I modified it by adding the DHCP hostname, but I'm not using DHCP. And if I check where there is DHCP hostname, what happens? Type Ethernet. Interface name, IPv4, address 1, DHCP, DNS, DNS search, may fail, false, method, manual. So it is exactly like this. Unless it should be put before the password. I don't know. Rendered. My hostname. So L N P with S and minus with the files, F with O. Spacing is alright. Why is it not? Okay, maybe it's this, the one I need. Because technically speaking, I said that it should be a bridge. So let me check actually in here. And let's go less. Okay, connection. AD, wired connection. Type Ethernet. Autoconnect priority -100, autoconnect retries 1, multi-connect 3. DNS 1. Okay, strange. Fail false method auto. 90 proxy user org. Created by nm initrd generator. Okay. 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 Let's use this. We have bridge name nm connection. Bridge name slave dash slave subini CLI. Subini what? BR0 connection, nm connection, but it's an ENS. Jesus Christ. Oh, man. And it's DHCP, there is no IP address in there. Why is it not working? Dropcat kernel, Butane config for a team DHCP, VLAN static IP, even that one is not a bridge, and it's a net Ethernet. It looks like it's somehow... Oh, look at this. It's possible to change this behavior of network manager with a config file drop-in noauto.conf. Auto configuration of Ethernet device is disabled and no other network configuration is provided. The system will boot without network access. Okay, let's actually add this and let's see if this fucking thing works. So let's leave this as is. It didn't work, but I don't know why. No, wrong. And now files. Maybe I don't need to add files again. I can just add another file. Path. etc. Network manager. Conf.d noauto.conf. Okay. Mod 0644 contents inline, and in here there is a space, so it should be correct. Main, and I'm not typing a comment for the time being, maybe in the future. No auto default equal star. So now if I use this again, no errors, but I'm starting to think it's not that important that there is no error. And I need to go in here, I guess. Why base 64? Why base 64? I don't get it, but it's okay. There's nothing to change, to be honest, but maybe something will, anyways. Reboot. Yes. I think that's more than enough to change Butane ignition file. I don't see errors. I don't see. Okay, totally okay, super okay, greatly okay, still ignored, and if we go again, conf, so nothing. It's as if it was not applied or ignored for some reason that is not clear at all. I'm missing something. Yeah, I tried this and it was completely ignored. Actually, let's try even more like this. And that means going here. And let's delete everything underneath. Okay, and let's write it. Butane. In theory. SP. And if I go less, only that file. Now reboot. Yes. Ignored again. So the SSH key is there. Or is it? Yeah, it's there. Let me try one thing. So yeah. Like this. And actually that's yeah, should be right. And Butane and this. Okay, let's then move here and let's go Terraform plan. Okay. And again. And I'm always trying to understand things. Okay, so console, perfect. Doing things. Let's see. Starting. And now there is 100. And now I think I understand. So a reboot is not enough. I need to recreate. And I need to actually destroy and recreate if I change the ignition file. Okay. But now, if I go in here and I write 100, totally yes. There is no, yeah, let's, so etc network manager, noauto.conf and system connections. So basically default. Why default? Oh wait. Yeah. I don't know why it's called like that. Okay, so let's try again without this. That, by the way, is it actually the file I created? Seems so. And do we add the, yeah. Okay, right. Butane pretty SCP. Perfect. Destroy. Apply. Let it work, let it work, let it work. It's okay. I'm not in a rush. Perfect, perfect. Do your thing, do your thing. Okay, now I get it. $100 again. What? Yes, I agree. 100, 100, 100, 9, 9, 9. Totally okay. And I get to say yes. I'm connected. And now we're going to, again, etc network manager. And in conf, I will not find anything. Did I history and oh, I didn't modify the history. Okay, I will need to configure the timestamps in the history, but I have a feeling that I didn't do this. I have a feeling that I didn't do this, so I need to destroy it again, because I didn't even leave apply. Plan and apply again. And again in here, for some reason, okay, the connection is lost. To the point that I cannot even do anything. Cancel. Let's see what happens. Perfect, lost connection, and there is 100, and if I connect again I get that error. Perfect. Strangely enough, there is more than one, but it's okay. Yes. And now we go again, network, and conf, I shouldn't find anything, perfect. And if I go instead to system connections, there is the file that I wanted to create. So if I go hostname, but if I go sudo less, oh Jesus, and here DHCP hostname is that one. So the connection was configured correctly. It's a bit annoying that I needed to recreate the VM from scratch every single time I do I need to create it every single time? Wasn't there a configuration in Terraform to always overwrite or something? Recreation, force recreate and change off. If the value of this string changes, the VM will be recreated. Useful for allowing this resource to be recreated when arbitrary attribute changes. An example where this is useful is a Cloud-Init configuration, as the CI custom attribute point to a file, not the content. So force recreate on change off string. What can I put there? The attribute. By the way, it's not. Yes. So maybe I can use this. But I need to better understand. If the value of this string changes, the VM will be recreated. Okay, so let's use it right fucking away. And it is a top level block, if I recall correctly. Yeah, perfect. Force recreate on change off. There it is. Force recreate on change off equal 1. Okay, so I simply changed that plan, and so for example, if I plan now and I apply, the VM is recreated in theory. Yes, it is. Perfect. So this is ideal, so that when I perform modifications wherever I need it on the Butane file, I change that and I don't need to perform the whole thing always and always. I will need to try one thing for sure. And it is to SCP directly to the correct place, but I need to check SCP to overwrite, and yeah, I have access as root. Let's try snippets. Maybe I cannot, but yes, I can. It seems. Less minus 58. It's now perfect. So this is even better. It will make it faster. Perfect. So network configuration is working. And I want to add some comments, but especially I want to add some notes. Okay. And ipconfig, in the end I left it so in the end I left the ipconfig 0. Nope. Configuration with specific IPv4 and gateway configuration attribute. Let's write properly. Gbus attribute. So in the end I left the value of the attribute with the specify IPv4 and gateway configuration. This should be an issue, as it is then ignored and the ignition file is taken into account. Networking ignition butane and networking Proxmox Terraform Cloud. If I ever write some silly story, Cloud will be a name. Cloud-Init configuration. And in here I just paste, I would say, the actual configuration, and other than that, cut. Yes. And other than that, wait a minute, okay. Wait a minute again. Yes. And section of the butane file. Reference. Nope, not this reference. Not this the reference. I don't need the specific one. Yeah, I could have just edited the link there, but it's okay. Okay, and what else do we do? Oh yeah, added the Terraform resource file, the attribute, the top level block attributes. This I don't need it. This is not. This it is. And let's go back in here so that get tanned by my screen. Ooh. And in here I am actually using this for to easily destroy and recreate the VM. This is needed because the ignition file needs to be reloaded as a resource for the VM, and this operation is done only at the creation of the VM, even modification does not change this. Awesome. Easier VM recreation. Okay. This is kind of cool. Now I am able to do what I want, and I will just need to slowly enlarge. So what do I need to do? I need to check for the possibility to use multiple files, multiple Butane files, so that I can use one, for example, just for the SSH configuration, one for the networking configuration, others for packages, for other configurations, in which case then I will be able to properly configure the whole machine with multiple files that are modular in a way. And if I need to have certain differences only in certain pieces, I can change just the module that I need to change. So for example, networking. If I have 10 VMs, all 10 VMs cannot have the same IP address. So I can have 10 for the networking, 10 files for the networking, that will be different, with different IP addresses, for example, and host names. So that only that specific section of the file is changed. The rest of the modules are the same. For example, the SSH configuration to inject the key, the SSH key, is always the same. It would be great if I can reference other files. It will make things easier, because maybe I can create a file that is this section and refer it to a single file. So one single file for this section, and I can refer it to every Butane file by pointing to the correct file, but I don't know if that's a possibility. I will need to look into that one. But for the time being, this was a great success, so I'm happy and I'm tired. It's been over 2 hours already. I want to say time flies, not because I had fun, but because I was extremely focused. I had fun as well, but that's not related to the fact that I wasn't. So it's not the reason why time flies in this day and in this stream. Anyways, For the time being, we are done. And I want to thank you all and see you next time. Next week. Bye.